We got moved to this house that's 2 open acres for the most part. And I used to have a drainage area behind my house that I could throw my old sticks and Christmas boxes, well, not Christmas boxes, but yard stuff and shrub material in and just deteriorate. And I had a little barrel out back that I burned Christmas boxes in. And the gentleman that lived here prior to us had a spot in the middle of the, not exact middle, but the middle of the yard that he burned that stuff in. I don't like that. I'm going to try to build a fire pit. We're going to call it the Gray Colson Project Fire Pit, and I'm going to have to do it in segments. All I did today was went to buy some block, really just enough to get started. You're going to measure it out and make sure it's square. Then I'm going to dig a sort of trench, and you can tell if that's not level right there. And see if I can level this out. And I just stacked those up there because I think I want to go about 4 high. That makes it about 3 feet or so. I'll probably lay one of those on its side so that the fire can breathe. But you can tell I got neighbors around. I want to do the right thing and have a safe fire when I have it. So it's not so much a recreational fire pit type thing. I want to do one of those back there in the backyard, but a functional one that I can just burn sticks and yard debris in. So we'll see the next segment. What I'm going to do is a little something different, I guess. I've seen people put up string and do a few different things as far as marking where you're going to dig. I'm going to use a can of this Rust-Oleum Professional Inverted Marking Paint. I know it's Rust-Oleum, but I like to put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. So that's, you don't have to do it that way. You can do anything you want to, but I'm going to mark around these edges with that. Trying to think outside of the box a little bit. You get it? I said outside the, never mind. The white around there, don't matter if there's a little bit of white on the brick, on the block, because I'm going to put something decorative around there anyway. Gray Colson Fire Pit Project. Had to take a break. It's been a 3-hat day so far. Those of you that sweat profusely understand what I'm talking about. So far this project, the Gray Colson Fire Pit Project, 3 out of 5 hats. And I have a feeling before it's done it'll be 5 out of 5. Although today I think I'm just laying the foundation for it. So after about 1.5 hours of cutting and digging and attempting to level as much as possible and a series of small heart attacks and a few expletives, we're here with a foundation hole sort of dug. See how much it's shaking? Told you I almost had a series of heart attacks. I was also a little bit concerned too because I'd read some things on the internet about putting fire brick inside this cinder block. You can see I'm on my 3rd course filling it in with concrete. And wonder what the deal was with that. He said outside fire pits really didn't need that. He didn't think I had to worry about that. I got to dig that crap out of there. So what I'm going to do, I bought some slate tile on clearance at another big box store. And I'm going to, after I get this done, that last course with that block, it'll be 4 blocks high, is put this like top cap on it with some of that adhesive I was telling you about. You can see where I've been filling these in kind of as I go, and I don't take it all the way to the top because the next course will go on there. I want the new concrete to go in on top of that. Is that something you have to do? No, that's just me. I feel like if I fill it all the way to the top here, that'd be a piece. And then if I fill the next one to the top, it'd be like a separate piece. It'd just be sitting there and it could more easily move. And my stuff ain't perfect, jack of all trades, master of none. But unless you want to pay somebody about $1,000 to do that, then you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. There's Marty, the dog, and Maggie. I don't know if you can see her or not out there. So I'll bring you up to date later on. Once again, back to the non-perfect, but not looking too bad, Gray Colson burn pit. Some may wonder what those open areas are down there. Of course, I just flipped the cinder block over. But they're to allow the fire to draw in oxygen, just in case you're from California or something and don't understand. That's the stuff you breathe, and there's these extra ones down here just to hold the tarp down. And I was dry placing these other little landscape brick, whatever you want to call them. I stacked this last course up, and you notice I haven't filled that in yet with concrete. You can't see anything down there. But I just dry stacking these to get an idea how they need to go, and cleaned out the pit a little bit. And so hopefully next week, you know, since I have to work for a living, I can get out here and it'll take about another 8 bags of concrete. This is a 7.5 square, well, as square as I could get it, structure. And it was amazing to me how many bags of concrete I needed to fill in those holes. And so it'll take about another 8 bags of that, and then that nifty high temperature caulking. And I'm going to have to caulk some of the outside of where my precision, well, of course I don't want to be too precise. I don't want people to, like, you know, fall down at my feet, which they wouldn't anyway. Caulk that up, put the slate tile on it, and then use that adhesive to tighten down those top brick. And we'll be about done with it. Just to give you an idea, you know, I was out here looking at it, see how it looks. This is our back. We got a two-car garage over there, but this is it's been nice to use that little area to mix concrete in under the house. And how this looks, actually, I wouldn't have put anything this big in the subdivision we lived in, but out here it doesn't overwhelm anything, don't look too crazy. Just kind of showing off the grass since I cut it yesterday. All right. Burn pit is complete, and I apologize because we've been busy and I've been moving along and couldn't for a few weeks because of weather. And so what we had done, I've just put sealant on this slate. If you recall, I bought some slate at a big box store that was on sale, and all I've done since the last video, it's kind of hard to see if the sun's in the wrong direction, and it's not perfect again, you know, but you know, it's a burn pit, so what do you say? Filled all the blocks in, like we'd mentioned, with concrete. There was some gaps I filled in with some high temperature foam, I guess. I put some lava rock in the bottom. I went to my big box store and I only had 2 or 3 bags left because it's the end of that time of year. So I just threw them in there. Fire take care of the rest. I didn't like how the holes were in the side. So those right there are intake vents. Just standard, typically for a house, like a crawl space. Bought those and painted them. The dark ones were a little bit more expensive. Those are about $22 a piece. Got some masonry drill bit. It came with actually it came with the hardware, but it wasn't masonry screws. They were screws with little sleeves that you stick in there. So I got some masonry screws, painted them all the same color, put it on there. and put the slate on there and just sealed it. That's why it kind of looks a little bit wet and dry in some places. You know, it's a burn pit. All right, you know, doesn't account for being slouchy or anything. But there's a vent on either side. I've used it a time or two already. Works really well at about 3.5 feet deep, or however actually deep it is. It contains a fire real well. I could had a flame about 12 foot high, and of course we got some room. Nothing really floats down on anybody. I guess if you're gonna have a fire that big, you don't want stuff to float down on other houses. So anyway, I mean, it is, I hate that saying, it is what it is, but it is what it is. It's better than a brown spot on the yard. Maybe the video's been helpful to you. I hope so. And you can leave a comment if you like, even if it's bad. I know it's not exactly level everywhere. So we're gonna, you know, I might video a little bit more when this Wednesday's Halloween, and I don't do much for Halloween, but I figured I'd use some of the boxes that we moved with. Instead of folding them up, throwing them in the garbage, bring them out here and burn them real good. So we might tape that. Alright. Before it gets too dark, this is Halloween 2018. I had this brass plate since about 2003. I got it at a memorial service for 2011, or excuse me, 9/11/2001, and never could find a place to put it. And it actually looks pretty good on the burn pit. I just started it up, and we'll check back and see how it does. It just went out, so we're going to start her again. Alright y'all, finally got it started. One thing I wanted to tell you, that caulking that I talked about to put that top plate on, don't do it. That stupid stuff, that wouldn't hold a stamp to an envelope. But what did work best was the dogs won't shut up. The mortar that I put the slate on, just use that. Just like you're putting slate on the floor, or you know, putting tile on the floor. That's the best stuff for that top plate there. It'll hold it. And it's Halloween, and we have a good fire going. Just started real good, getting all these boxes out of the way, and it was about 78 degrees here in Georgia today, so it made for a pretty good day to come out in the backyard and start a fire with the shorts on. I think it's pretty cool seeing the fire through the vents like that. See how it contains it very well. See, the dog agrees. Well, thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for watching my video. You know, I've always benefited from those do-it-yourself videos on YouTube. I can't tell you how many times. And it's the first one I've made, and you're probably wondering why you're looking at a copy of a book cover. And that's one of the things that I do. Gray Colson is not a real person. He's the main character in the Code of Misconduct crime series. And I think they're pretty good because I've been in law enforcement for 35 years and have seen one or two things go on. So if you like reading, I'd appreciate very much you checking out the Code of Misconduct series by me, author C.a.Griffith. And that's my website, author.c.a.griffith.com. If nothing else, stop in and say hey to me on my guest book. But God bless. I hope if you're building a fire pit, it turns out great and even more level than mine. Take care.